Everyone, thanks for joining me again. I hope you are all well and staying safe. Today I'm going to be making a very simple pop-up card, and I've already cut my cardstock for this. I'm going to be using a sheet of 11 inches by 6 inches. Normally I would make this in an A4 size, which would be 11 1/4, which is the length of an A4 sheet of cardstock, by 6 inches, but also so that any of you that have the 8.5 by 11 cardstock, it's easy enough for me just to adjust that for you as well. In any case, whatever size you made it at, I would just recommend you make your inside 1/4 inch smaller than the outside. So for my pop-up, I'm going to be using this pattern cardstock. It's not a very heavyweight cardstock. I would think it's somewhere between maybe 160, maybe 200, but not much more than that. So first thing I want to do is to just score these in half. And as I said, this is going to be our card blank. So at 11 inches, I'm going to score it at 5.5. And I'm going to set this aside because we don't want to use this just at the moment. We're going to work only on the pop-up. And this is our pop-up. Now, one of the easiest things you can do with this really is just to fold it in half like this. Push it against your fingers. And there you are. You could put it on a scoreboard, but I just thought I'd give you an alternative way to do it as well. And you get folded again this way and burnish it. And this is the side that we're going to be working from. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you had a pattern that was directional, of course, I would say make sure you have that in the right way. Oh, and if you hear that little noise in the background, that's Chloe. She's making an appearance. Hello, Chloe. Right, now, first thing I want to do is to mark on here where I want my pop-up to come from. And I've decided, and in fact I'm going to put here on this mat, to come in about 1 inch in from either side. 1 inch in from here, 1 inch in from here, and I wanted to actually come up also about 1 inch. So if I just take my ruler and set it here on my grid, let me just line that up. Okay, and I'm just going to mark across here. You don't really have to worry about this side because it does not get seen at all. It's actually going to be glued down to the base. So there we have that. I will also come up here so I know where I'm going to put my line. This is for our cut marks. And there we go. And here as well. Okay, there we are. And now all I need to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut up this line. To that first line there, to that line that I just put there, and then I'm going to come up this line. Okay. And those are the only 2 cuts we need to make. The next thing is to take this, and what I usually do, will take my bone folder, my stylus, whatever I have, and score along that mark to make it easier to fold that back and forth. So then I'm going to come up with it. Burnish. I'm going to flip it to the other side and do the same. Then open up the pop-up, and there you fold it back down here again, vanish. When you open it, you see there's your pop-up. Just a single pop-up, and that's all there is to it so far. I pulled a few things from my stash which I thought I could use in my pop-up, and I think I'm going to use this as my central or my focus point. And the only thing I've got to keep in mind is that whatever I've decided to put here cannot extend past this edge here, so that it's not going to get caught into the envelope. So I'm going to push that back and see, yeah, that should be about right. So that should be okay. And I'm just going to mark on here where I want to glue this down to, so it doesn't go any further down than that. And I can apply my glue to the back. Actually, I should be able to do that. Just put a little bit of temporary tape on there so that I get an idea if that would fit. I'm just going to put this glue on here. Right there, one little test, and it makes it, so that is fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply my glue here. And just mark how far up I can go, just about here. Come across this. What I could do is a little bit there as well. With it. And spread that glue around. Give it a test. Not too bad. Might want to move it just a tad over. There we go. I think that's, yeah, that's a little bit better. There we go. And that is my main pop-up. Now I'm going to decorate the back of this, and what I've got here is something I made a couple of months ago probably, and it was using a combination of wax paper and embossing folders with some distress inks. And I think I'm going, it sort of looked like a sunshiny scene, so I think I'm going to put that here to the back, just as a little bit of a focal point. And before I do that, I'm going to put some of my other bits and pieces on it. This is going to be a little banner or a piece of bunting. Got bunting on the image here, and I'm just going to put a little more up here. Cut off that excess bit, and I've already cut some out here. And now I have these two pieces, which were left over from other projects that I had. I think they were from an Easter card, and they were just leftovers, which have been in my stash for a while. So I thought I'd use these as pop-ups as well. So what I'm going to do is attach them here to this pop-up piece. And they have their own little mechanism, a little square here, cube, that will also pop up when the main one pops up. So I'm going to put this onto here. Just adds a little bit of more depth to it. And I'm going to have that just about there. So the best thing to do is to just collapse it down. Take the bone folder and go over it and get that glued in place as best as possible. And once it's dry, it will be a lot better, but probably would have been better to use some double-sided tape on that. But like I said, that's going to dry soon enough, so I think I'll just keep it on there. There we go. Now it's moving. There it is. There. There we go. And the same for this little cheeky fella. Put it in place. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, so now I'm going to put the glue on the bottom as well. I'll just cut a little bit of cardstock here to add for writing message. I'm just going to put this here on the front. I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm just going to do a little bit of faux stitching around this. To move on to the card blank itself, and I've got here a mat and my background paper, and I've decided to cut my mat at 5 7/8 by 5 3/4, and my pattern paper at 5 by 5 1/2. So I'm just going to mat this layer here on this mat. And oops, we have a visitor. If you're squeamish, look away now. There we go. On your way. Wants to get in on the show. For my sentiment, I just stamped out sending hugs and happy thoughts and mounted that on a piece of matching cardstock that I used for the mat. And I also decided I would double mat this. So what I'm going to do here, it gives that illusion of a little more depth without actually having a whole lot of height, because the card inside has already got a lot of dimension. So shall we take a look? Sending hugs and happy thoughts. And there we are. See, now that these have all dried sufficiently, they pop up easily. And nothing extends past here, so if you just go to a regular envelope. I want to do like a little bouncy envelope. And I'm quite happy with that. And I hope you are too. There we have it. A really simple, but yet very fun little pop-up card. Thank you so much for staying with me through this tutorial, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!